Ladies and gentlemen, I've been told this game is very calming. Thank you for joining us today on the Anarchy Gaming channel. Please remember to drop a like, hit subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and if you are interested in any merchandise, or as you young kids call it, merch, please click the link below. It would make me so happy. Now, on with the video. Thank you again. Wow. Look, it's me. Sorry, that's my bad, 100%.
Fox looked high and low, searching for any sign of her cubs. Points of light showed the way to this ancient tree. It was as if each one had a story to tell, all their own. The land was trying to tell my story, too. I felt like I was right behind her the whole time. As a kid, did you ever do show and tell in your class?
Yeah, I think I only did it once, when I was in the 4th grade. You know how my life was around then. I wanted to show my class what helped pass the time and distracted me, so I brought a dozen paper cranes I had made. I think I told everyone how badly I wanted to be a bird and fly, embarrassingly enough.
Don't be embarrassed. Every kid wants to fly.
We can't go up there. Okay.
For me, it was another toy from my dad, a wooden boat. I remember guarding it so carefully in my hands as I walked into class. When I sat down, a group of boys immediately made fun of it. They asked which trash can I found it in, or why an ugly log was my favorite toy. When I got up, I didn't even want to tell them my dad had carved it. I said it was a joke gift my friend had given me.
Kids can be so cruel.
Some of them are. I shouldn't have let them get to me, but it did. It's amazing we bounced back at all. Do you remember what my dad did for a living?
Wasn't he like a lumberjack?
That's one way of putting it. If wood was a canvas, then a carving knife was his paintbrush. Even after working a 50-hour week, even after his hands were more splinters than skin, he would bring home the nicest piece of Alaskan weeping cedar and make me toys. That wooden train was the first toy I can remember, and I loved it. I just knew from a young age I was going to be a lumberjack, like my father. Usually those kids would leave me alone, but somehow they could tell I was different. They made fun of how far away I lived. They called my dad sourdough. I was a blabbermouth as a kid, telling my dad stories I made up for hours. But after that show and tell, I didn't tell him much anymore. He didn't know exactly what was wrong, but his best guess was that the toys he carved weren't cool enough. He carved me a tank and tried to tell me what it was like to be in a real tank as a serviceman.
I didn't know your dad was in the military.
Yeah, in the army. The sad thing is that I'd pretty much forgotten until just now. There's so much I still don't know about him.
I'm sorry. He knows how much you love him. You're going to see him again soon and have some closure, I'm sure.
Is his dad in the hospital or something? Wow. Yeah, I don't think we're meant to go any higher, so... Time to yeet! Wow, alright. Good job, mate. It's pretty high.
The older I got, the more I withdrew. I asked myself, why talk to anybody anyway? Why bother when I'm happy by myself? I started drawing a lot, mostly animals I saw in the woods by my home. I then imagined designing my own hideouts with things like TVs and pantries full of chips and cookies. I think that idea of leaving home and drawing blueprints started my career. I found a lot of solace in that.
I'm not surprised.
I think it's
But
solace.
I did the same thing, you know? There's something special about having a place to call your own.
And now look at us. Well, if you count renting in an overpriced city.
It's as
Ah,
close
I
as we
missed.
can get for now.
Alright, here we go again. Wow. That is just so cool. Oh my goodness, the music changed.
My teenage years were full of sketching, angst, and trouble. I wasn't popular or unpopular. Maybe just forgettable. I guess that gave me a sense of freedom. So I hung out with crazy kids, doing crazy things, even though I mostly just watched the chaos ensue. We did it all. Put fireworks in mailboxes, hide roadkill in people's garages, break windows of the barber shop in Anchorage. My dad was furious,
There's a firework.
but he was so busy working he couldn't do much to stop me from going out.
I think being an adult means there's no one to stop you making hard decisions. He had to make a living.
No.
And he couldn't be in two places at once.
Yeah, I realize that now. But at the time, I was sure he was more interested in growing his business than what was going on with me.
Drugs, alcohol, as is the teenage experience for most people. Cop car, sounds about right. Not my teenage experience though. I had a very simple teenage hood. Teen hood? As a simple teenager. I didn't get into any of the
Working
drugs or
late night
partying, but
when my friends were over, saying how bored they were and how they had come all the way out to my house for nothing. One of them mentioned how that old, ugly beyond belief truck was still in the garage and how we should take it for a spin. I was only 15, so I kind of fought it for a
okay,
while.
so I was supposed to go there
The next
first.
thing I knew, we were careening around the mountain path, rocks spitting onto the sides of the cliff, while my dad's cringeworthy bluegrass blared out the speakers. I drove while my friends were in the back of that yellow and purple truck, throwing beer bottles and trash at anything remotely interesting. I felt like I was soaring in the air with borrowed wings. But all good things have endings. A cop outside of Eagle River pulled us over after he saw us in a bottle rocket into someone's yard. What followed was a long night of talking to disappointed adults and feeling smaller than ever.
Yeah, so we were supposed to go to that one place first. I told you. Why'd you guide me the wrong way?
After he drove me home from the police station, I blew up at him, saying how I never wanted to be like him, how I was going to be someone and leave that hick icebox for good. He just looked forward at the road with tired eyes. I took out that bluegrass tape from the cassette deck and chucked it out the window. In my sage teenage wisdom, I thought I had proved the ultimate point. But my dad had a different idea. He slammed the brakes, slowly bowed his head while gripping the steering wheel, and finally looked at me. All he said, like it was a polite request, was, "Make this right." I sat there in silence, fuming, but I eventually got out and combed every square inch of the woods, muttering profanity after profanity. I found it 30 minutes later, near a small waterfall off the road. I went back to the truck, put the wet tape back in, and sure enough it worked. We didn't speak another word to each other the rest of the night.
Wow, I knew you were a crazy teenager, but
It's hard to believe, isn't it? It surprises me too. It's like I didn't really know who that kid was back then. I bet my dad thought the same thing over and over. It's almost like he was saying, make this right to himself, more than to me.
Oh, I don't think I'm supposed to be back here. It's all good though. Like, look how cool this thing is. Wow. That's epic. This game would be pretty cool in VR.
If there was some way I could take my love of drawing and turn it into a way of escape, nothing would make me happy. I wanted to create instead of tearing trees down. I wanted to move to the lower 48, not because I hated it there in Alaska, but I hated the idea of it. It's like all of that spite
Don't you mean the
inside
lower
me had created
49?
this monster which followed me around my whole teenage years. I put so much energy into doing what others didn't expect of me. Why did I do that?
Alaska's not
There's
two
one
states.
fact you're forgetting, though. If you didn't have that fire in you, we probably would have never met.
You're absolutely right. Maybe the destination is all that matters in the end. But then why am I awake? Why am I seeing this fox go on her journey? And why can't I stop thinking about my dad?
I don't know what's gonna happen when we hit these steam vents. Maybe it'll launch us up and then it'll show us the whole valley. That'd be super cool. Or maybe we'll be able to get up there, or I don't know. Whoa. Okay. Is there some sort of fox knowledge that I don't know about where they just bow on rocks?
On our property, there were old abandoned pieces of a shed and car long left unused. I used to ask him all the time who those people were that left all this junk. And I'm sure he got so tired of hearing it that he made up some elaborate stories how a brown bear ate them and haunted the woods afterwards. What's funny is I think it made those people seem more real. Growing up thinking they were still hanging out like they couldn't say goodbye. I used to tell my friends how I could swear I saw spirits move near the water, and that always freaked them out. I guess it didn't bother me, because the way I saw it, they were normal people with old cars and sheds, just trying to figure out how to survive and be happy in the middle of nowhere. It was a cool thought that they didn't want to leave, but you know, I was a weird kid.
Well, you had good company since those ghosts liked living in a place where they were brutally devoured.
Think we're gonna run into a bear?
Even at my most distant, at the times when I detested him the most, he kept reaching out. For a year straight, he asked me every week when we were going camping. I thought he was just dense. Eventually, to shut him up, I agreed. We carried out the worn lawn chairs from the garage and set up a cinder block campfire at the site we had always used behind the house. We walked down the mountain path, talking in the warm sunshine we only got a couple months of the year. Those 3 obsidian rocks shimmered alongside the shore, almost like sparklers pressed against a dark window. I'll never forget that wet stone on my feet, or how those massive mountains looked even bigger in the lake's reflection. I felt small, but grateful. As the sun set, my dad found something I hadn't seen for a long time. The tree where I'd made my first carving when I was 6. I hadn't even carved it. My dad had helped me. but I still called it my tree. Something about seeing my name there made me open up, and we talked about everything that night in that old camouflage tent. I told him how much I love sketching and design, and how it would be a dream to study architecture in Seattle. I told him how I didn't get along with my friends much anymore, but that I didn't mind being alone. He told me he was there for me, and he joked that if all he had to do was write my name on a tree to finally get me to talk, he would have left me carved logs with novels on them in front of my room every morning. I don't know why it took me that long to realize it, but it was then I knew how much he had sacrificed for me. My dad built a lot of stuff in his free time. If he wasn't watching fly fishing or reading Tom Clancy novels, he was carving something. He made tons of birdhouses. Not that he was into bird watching, but I think he really missed working and adding on to the home. If he couldn't afford the time to build onto our own house, he would have to settle with watching birds move into their little homes. We kept an old mattress in the bed of that ugly yellow truck, so we would drive it deep into the woods and then watch the birds fly into their houses while
That's why they had the old mattress.
Usually it was accompanied by venison jerky or a cold Coke, but not a lot of talking, which is how we both liked it.
This reminds me of The Lion King. You know when they're in the Scar's like evil lair? Yeah. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
We were happiest underneath the evergreens. We decided it was time to finally map out the hundreds of acres we lived on just to pass the time during the summer. He was only free in the evenings, so I would spend the day wasting time on dial-up internet and sketching, and then we would rush into the woods, pen and map in hand, before evening fell. Sometimes the aurora borealis would cast a cold green glow on the mountainside, and we would finish our route underneath a twilight sky.
Whole fence.
Sometimes I was lonely during those summer days, but there was comfort in the routine.
A lot of teenagers aren't looking for the daily grind, though. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get out, to leave your childhood home. You wanted to progress, to make something of yourself.
Yeah, you're right. That house. I'm sure it's the same as how I left it. But then why does it feel so different?
That's
I
just
doubt
sketch,
you're
huh?
the only adult to have looked back and asked that question.
Here we go, baby. New places.
Perpetrator stood nearby, unfazed.
Is that the,
nothing was wrong.
Is that a wolf?
My dad is dead. And he's never coming back, Rachel. I can tell you these stories, but I can never reminisce with him again.
No!
I can never hold a grandchild that we'll probably never be able to have. I can never talk to him again, and I'll never be able to say I'm sorry. For everything.
How dare you! How dare you hurt my little puppy, my little cub! I'll kill you! And
I need
yeah.
to go to bed. I just can't talk about this anymore.
But yeah, it's yeah. But yeah, no, so that whole thing got me thinking about like my uncle and my cousins and how my uncle never got to meet his grandkid. It's nuts to me. But yeah, that's why that got me all emotional and all tearing up.
Joseph, you can't go to sleep feeling like this. I'm sorry for everything, and I know you need space, but I'm here for you.
What's the
You
game?
don't
It's
need to
called
feel so
it's called The
lost.
First Tree.
Joseph,
You can get it on the Epic
have
Games
I
Store.
ever told
It's
you
pretty
what
cool.
my mother was like?
Yeah, it's called The First Tree. and it's pretty epic. I got it for free. I think it's a $20 game.
You know what it's like not to have a mom at home. And you know how hard that made my childhood. What helped me was watching the birds in the morning before the school bus came. I thought that my mother was one of those birds, and it made me want to be free like her. My mom taught me how to fold origami creams while she was in the hospital. So I told myself I would fold one every day until I could fly myself. I think we both have always loved animals.
This game is just so aesthetically pleasing. I love it so much.
Sometimes this Rottweiler would come up to our property line and wait at the fence for me, but only once in a while.
How have you been,
I was sure to check
Quartermaster?
every day immediately after school.
It's been a
and
while.
it usually ended in disappointment. I would even steal money from my passed-out dad just so I could buy these off-brand dog biscuits. Even when she did stop by, she never went beyond the fence. Why was she so scared?
Well, that's good. I don't know if we're just running towards nothingness at this point, or if I'm supposed to keep going straight. Got no idea. Well, that can be a good thing, or it could be a bad thing. It depends on who you are. I hope it's a good thing, though.
You have strength, Joseph, and you're not as alone as you think.
It's all just so pointless. Just waiting for life to happen. It's like having the home I always wanted is cursed out of my reach.
Look at these reflections.
Being a parent
Wow.
myself. How could I do that when I couldn't even be a good son?
Wow, and it does the
sorry.
jump
I know what you're
reflection. Oh,
saying.
that's epic.
I just don't know how things
How
will
about
work
me?
out.
Well,
These
I
quiet
started my
hours
own
would turn
business,
into years. We'll wonder which
um,
roads passed us by.
teaching people
And you'll
about
forge a
money
new
and how it
one
works,
together.
and helping them
Besides,
invest,
I
and
discovered for myself that one fateful morning,
hopefully,
where any hopeful road
eventually
leads to.
helping them start their own
There may be
businesses.
thorns in this, but
Um,
it always leads to the same thing.
it all depends on the person and
What's that?
what their goals are, and if they like their job that they're in.
I'm so glad.
But
that
yeah,
you're part of
I
my
teach
family,
people
Rachel.
about finance and how to start their own
And
businesses.
I'm glad you're part of mine.
I was supposed to stream a game called Genshin Impact today,
My
and
dad was super supportive with my
I guess I
college
didn't
plans.
realize that
To
I
a
had
point.
to
Things were
download
okay
the game
until this terrible
in the
accident.
launcher after I've downloaded
I
the
guess a
launcher,
forklift
which I
flipped
should have
over
known,
due
but
to a
whatever.
bad axle, and it crushed one of the workers there. My dad didn't eat for days, even though he wasn't directly involved. It devastated him. Not only did it hurt the business, but it just freaked him out. He would talk in his sleep, muttering things about firing people and saying sorry. One fateful day he approached me, said that since my school search wasn't going well, I should finally be a man and take over the family business. He said one day he was going to die, and that all of his work, sacrifice, and even that man's life would be wasted in vain. I just lost it. Teenage me just exploded at the thought. I screwed up. I said things I shouldn't have. He was having a crisis, and I pretty much spit in his face.
It's
Was
all
that
good.
the last time you talked to him?
It's all good.
No, I called on holidays, and he would call on my birthday. I guess we acted like nothing ever happened, which was stupid. Didn't want to ask about his lumberyard, and I'm sure he didn't want to ask about my job search. I never went back and visited. I think the last conversation we had was about what movies we had seen, and what exactly a best boy is in the credits. I thought he would be here so much longer.
What is the best boy in the credits? Yeah, so I've been told that this game really makes you reflect on life. So far, it's been pretty true. I've been trying to talk a little bit, while I play the game. But I'm also, deep in thought as well. It's kind of hard to talk and be deep in thought at the same time for me. I don't know. Usually really good at multitasking. Is this it? Is this the first tree, guys? I think we're here. Yeah, see, look. It's another dead pup and the wolf! Why do you do this
In the
to me?
distance, the first tree illuminated the wasteland. She couldn't go home anymore. She did the only
Why do you
thing
do
she
this
was
to me?
capable of. Moving forward. My dad died alone in the middle of the wilderness.
Why do you
I
do
should
this
have
to
been
me?
talking to him more. I should have done a lot of things differently.
So good. I got my
If the
big
first tree
fist.
on Earth brought life with it, if it taught the birds to sing and fly and showed saplings how to grow, what could it do for us?
That's fantastic. Oh my goodness. Like, the graphics are incredibly simple, but like, they're beautiful. Would you agree? I'm on ultra high now, baby. I might download this stream and edit it into a video.
There was a letter I received yesterday.
Just in case people don't
from
want to
name I
watch a
didn't
full
recognize.
2-hour stream.
The quote I can't stop thinking about. Death is not the opposite of life, but a part of it.
It's very true.
More and more,
I learned that
I'm
from
realizing one
Unisonus.
important truth. Each of us have our own journey to the
How am I
first
supposed to
tree.
get up there?
But sometimes I'm not sure I'm ready to take that first step.
You already have my love.
Ah. There we go. I did it. You guys are seeing cooler graphics than I am because of the way that my screen is. It's not very bright, and so I'm having to look at the stream screen while I do this, so I don't fall off this invisible log, or at least it's kind of invisible for me. Y'all are getting a prettier picture than me. Are we sure this is a tree? I mean, yeah, it's a tree, but like, that don't look like a tree. Yeah, but yeah, I knew, yeah, this game is awesome. It just teaches you the amazing life lesson that death is part of life. Oh yes, give me that sexy pan out, let's go. Wow. The first tree awakens and gently asks if there's one last message, the fox wants to tell her children. She replies back and says, "See you soon." I'll be counting the seconds until we meet again. I love you. My children, I'll see you soon.
What the hell?
Hey, at least this thing's lighting my way, so I don't have to keep looking at this screen. the road traveled gets. You must always keep your head held high and keep... I missed it. Keep something. Hey, go back. I was still reading that. Oi! What? Did I just die? No. Well, would you like to anonymously submit your statement to the first tree to an online moderated database? It may appear randomly to other players. Yes. Wow. That's beautiful. It's too bad I have to say goodbye to first tree now. What a fantastic game that was. What a fantastic game. Thank you all. Thank you, Portal Master, so much for watching and joining me. One of these days, I'm going to figure out this new lighting situation and try to make it so that my face doesn't look like garbage. But hey, thank you. It means a lot that you joined me today and talked to me, Portal Master. I always enjoy a good chat, especially on my streams. Have a good one. Now it's time for the good old outro. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, smash the like, hit subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. Remember to click the link down below so that you could go check out my tips and donations page, my merch page, or my Freedom's First Step page, where you can go get any everyday product that you so choose, like hair products, laundry detergents, facial creams, vitamins, supplements, pre-workout, energy drinks, excess energy, pretty freaking good, and so many other things. We're also partnered with Apple and Home Depot, so please go check that out. Or if you want to learn, this part's for you specifically, Portal Master, if you're still here. If you want to learn about my business, you can click the link down below and then click the button that says Running Towards Freedom or Run Towards Freedom, and that will greatly give you a good old-fashioned some knowledge on how I work. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I'm Man Up from Man Out Gaming. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time. And, well, that's every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time. And, sounds like I'm gonna be seeing you guys next time on Monday. Just think about life.